and welcome to episode 80 of the Unwrapped Leader Podcast, where we get raw, real, and relevant in the new network marketing and helping you become a gifted leader in your business. My name is Teisha Dorianna from Canada.
And I'm Dracy Dewar from Australia.
And today, this is our last episode before the new year. So we wanted to come together to wrap up 2023 and talk to you guys a little bit about all the lessons that we took away from the previous year and what we're bringing into the new year. And something that I posted about the other day is actually a guiding word for 2024. And a lot of people like to pick words going into the new year to just guide their, I guess, new year and what they want to get out of it. So something that came up for me, and then Dracy, I'll kind of let you share what you chose, is the word strong. And for me, I want to make a commitment to just getting stronger in every single aspect of my life. And so, both not both, there's like multiple things. So I've been hitting the gym a lot lately and love seeing the physical growth and strength there. So I want to get stronger muscles. I want to strengthen my mind. I want to have stronger relationships with the people that I care about. I want to grow stronger in my business skills. I want to grow stronger boundaries, and I want to grow a stronger presence going into 2024. And I've always seen myself as a very mentally strong person, but I think there's so many aspects of my life that I would like to be stronger in. So it just felt fitting for me in where I am in my life right now to make that word strong. And something that you guys can do if you are thinking about a word and you're not really sure what to go with. I don't know if you've seen these pictures floating around the internet. I kind of came across one, and then I decided to post one in our Gifted Leader community on Facebook, and there was a ton of engagement on it. And it's basically one of those pictures where it says, the first 4 words you see is your words leading you into the new year. And it's kind of like a word search, but it's just the first 4 words that you randomly see in this big paragraph of letters is those words that will guide you. So I've been seeing a lot of those around, and it's kind of just fun to participate and play in them. But if you do see them, take a look and see what actually comes up, and if one of those kind of fit for you, and that might be a way for you to find your word going into the new year. But yeah, mine is strong, and those are kind of the reasons that I chose that word. It's not just a word, it's really just a commitment to myself for getting stronger in every aspect of my life. So Dracy, what did you choose for your word going into the new year?
Well, I've been playing on this word now probably for the last few weeks. I saw it. I'm not sure if I saw it on a blog or a podcast or something, but I saw this word and I go, that's going to be it. That's my word. And it probably leans into a lot of what you're saying with strong, but I think I've embodied the word strong for a lot of years in my life. And when you were saying that, I was like, you know what, I'm ready to be a little more softer in everything I do. But I mean soft in a really good way. But that's not my word. That's just what made me think about when you were saying that. But my word is amplified. I'm just ready to amplify everything in my life, just amplify what we're doing with the Unwrapped Leader. And we're going to talk about what we've learned in our lessons in there and why amplify. I think we're ready for that. Even in my personal life, I just got such a cruisy, epic life going on, and I'm just kind of ready to amplify it and to just doing some new things. And while you were talking, these words kept coming in, and the word was play and participate. So, I just think this is a time just to have fun, play, and participate in everything you have an opportunity to. And I think if I could do that, I think that's what's going to lead to my life being amplified, amplifying in 2024. So I look forward to embodying that word a little bit more. So I gave you lots of other dialogue around it, but I'm just kind of feeling a little cheeky and wanting to have fun with this podcast.
It's a good word. I like that one for you. I think that makes sense. And that's really great. So I think we should dive into our lessons. So we decided to share 23 lessons that we learned in 2023. So we each came up with 10 that were personal to us. And then we came together to talk about 3 that was a little bit more related to the Unwrapped Leader as a business. So maybe what we could do, Dracy, is I'll let you get started. And do you want to share maybe your first 5, and then I could share the next 5, and we'll kind of go back and forth like that?
Let's have some fun. So, okay.
Perfect.
So this is how I set myself up, because just sitting there going, oh, what are the lessons I had this year? And so I was like, I kind of got stuck. And then I thought, well, let's recap 2023. And how did I set my year up? And Teisha and I had done our Fierce Vision Board workshop. And so in that, I had put together, the things that I fiercely protect. And I thought, well, why don't I review that? And so what were the things that I fiercely protect? And then what were the lessons I got out of that this year? So one of those things that I fiercely protect happened to be family. And so I had a couple lessons in my family as I reflected on that. And I think the number one, I'm starting this one off, is I've been very blessed to have 4 now grandbabies from the age of 3 to 1 years old. So, and every time I get time with them now, it's like nothing else matters. That song, that Metallica song, rings in my head in the moment when I know there's probably a phone call, or there's probably an email, or there's probably something I'm supposed to be doing. I just sit there in that moment and I just completely forget about it. I'm in my presence and I think of nothing else matters. And I think back when I had children. I can't remember taking those moments and pausing as much as I loved it. I don't remember them. So I want to remember these. So that's my number one in my family, is nothing else matters. Number 2 in family is probably the importance of mental health. I've seen and had to be a part of family members really struggle with mental health, and that it is really real. And myself personally, I just always kind of with put your big girl panties on and just, go forward. And I realized that, you really need to prioritize self-care. And I needed to change my strategy on how I address somebody who's really struggling. What might work for me doesn't work for everybody, but it was, again, learning to be a good listener and how important that relationship was. So I think that's my number 2, and that comes to family. The number 3 came around frame of mind. Okay, so how do I fiercely protect my frame of mind? And I know 2023, we led into it being just so many challenges. I think a lot of us came into 2023 with uncertainty based on what's going on in the last few years. Me doing this Fierce Vision workshop really helped ground me, but it really made me realize that I really needed to adapt, and I really needed to be ready for unexpected circumstances. And that really happened throughout this year. There was things that kind of happened that I just really needed to reset. Whereas my frame of mind, I had to really make sure I had a strong mindset leading into that year. So that was number 3. And then number 4, I had to bounce it around here because it actually came to how important authenticity is. Because I came from a really cookie cutter approach and, speed, not perfection. I came from a place of, being very professional and just learning this personal branding, how important being authentic is. And I get to be authentic online, and that the bit like, know, and trust, and building that the me being my real me and really expressing my passions, is what really shines. And so I had to really work through that, being able to show up online more authentic all the time. Not that I didn't before, it's just I was a little bit more prim and proper about what I shared or exposed. And now I'm just like, I'm sharing my passions more than ever before. So the very powerful of importance is key. So that's 4. And number 5, but again, this was now about my future. And to fiercely protect my future, the things that I learned was embracing change. Again, I think that's probably rang into me the last couple of years, that the value of flexibility and being open to change. I needed to make huge changes. The industry ourselves is changing. The network marketing industry is changing. I needed to make those changes in my personal life, but most importantly in my professional life. And that happened to be like really riding with social media, just changing the way we do our business on our day-to-day operations. And that was the daily disciplines. Those are the changes that I needed to make. So those are my 5.
Nice. Those are some good lessons for sure. So I'll tell you the background of how now I came up with my 10 lessons. So I started keeping a 5-minute gratitude journal several months ago. I started it. And at the end of every day, it would ask me what lesson I learned. And so I decided to flip through that book and kind of pick out the ones that I thought would be worth sharing with you guys. And they were just things that, based on how my day went, what was the lesson that I took away from it? So these are a few things that I thought, they all kind of relate to, can relate to personal life, and they could also relate to business. So, take what you will from it. But the first one I wrote down was multitasking isn't effective. Trying to do work. One thing that I still struggle with sometimes is I try and do my work when I go to the gym, and I will like be on the treadmill or like in between sets of when I'm doing weights, and I'm trying to like get work done, whether that be messaging with people or even sometimes making content, like just depends on what my brain is thinking at the time. But the gym for me is a place where I want to, I need it. Like my brain usually shuts off and I can just kind of think of nothing, and I could just be present with myself. So when I try and work, it's just, I don't actually, one thing or the other is not going to get done effectively. Either the work isn't, or sometimes both, or, my workout at the gym just isn't nearly as good. So I find that it's just really dividing my attention and my focus, and it's just making it harder to perform tasks efficiently. So that was kind of a lesson that I learned. And I'm pretty sure I wrote that in my journal because it was a day that I was trying to work while at the gym. And I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Like, this isn't effective. And it's the same thing in business. Like, if you're trying to do too many things at once and you have no focus, you're not actually going to get anything done to the standard that you would like to get it done at. So that's my number one, is multitasking isn't effective. Number two is motivation is not enough. So, the people who are successful in this industry, in this life, they show up on days that they're not motivated because they have two things. They have discipline and they have persistence, and that's what's going to push them through. And so the days that sometimes I wake up and I don't maybe want to do my follow-ups, or maybe I don't want to make a reel, or I don't want to make a post on social media that day, I still know that it's important to stay disciplined and persistent in getting my tasks done, because I know that the results that will come from that. So motivation just isn't enough. You have to have discipline, persistence, consistency. There's so many of them, but that was another lesson I learned, is you need to have more than just motivation. So if you're sitting there too, as maybe a leader, thinking, how can I motivate my team? Or, you're wondering why someone else is not motivated that is a team member of yours, just know that they need, maybe that's a lesson you could share with them, is they need to have discipline and persistence, because not everyone's going to wake up motivated every day, right? It's just how it is. We're human, right? We could have bad days too. So that is number two. Number three is announcing your goals out loud makes a difference rather than just keeping them to yourself. So whether that be a personal goal, wellness related, maybe it's a business goal, announce it or talk with someone that maybe you care about. But here's my thing. I'll announce it on social media. And this way, whether people like me or hate me, I don't really care. I'm holding myself accountable to my fans and my haters. Right. So it just helps really, focus on the task at hand and what you really want to accomplish. And an example is, I did this for my first incentive trip with my new company that I was gunning for. And I was like, I need to earn this trip. Like, I really want to do this for myself. I want to prove it to myself, but I also want to, just show that, when you come in, it doesn't matter if you're brand new to a business or you've been around for a while, like you can hit the big ranks, you could hit the big awards, you can, like you can get whatever you set your mind to, essentially, and whatever your goal is. So I announced that goal to the world, and I didn't stop talking about it, and I ended up achieving that goal. So I think, announcing your goals to the world makes the biggest difference. Okay. Lesson number 4 is you are a new person every 5 years. This was something that was said to me at a fall conference that I attended in Kelowna, I believe in September. And it was a big leader in the network marketing industry that was delivering a presentation. And she said these exact words: you are a new person every 5 years, because you're constantly evolving and self-discovery is ongoing. So you don't know what you're going to be or do especially in your 20s. So for me, I'm in my 20s, and I just feel like, things change a lot. I have a in general focus, and I now know, I think, what I'm passionate about, what I was meant to do. But you as a person and human being will continuously evolve. And so you need to grow like it's your job, because you're a new person every 5 years, and you want to continue to evolve and set new goals, and just continue to do things that make you happy. So this is my fourth, and now my fifth one, and then I'll put it back onto you, Dracy, is organization increases excitement and confidence. Now, this is a personal opinion, but I do think it was a lesson for me, because I thrive on organization personally. So I think of this both in personal and real life. Like, if I'm going on a trip, I'm someone who's planning out the itinerary day by day and even hour by hour. And when I can do that, I feel excited. I feel, confident that the trip's going to be great. I'm a planner. And when I have something planned, it just makes everything so much better. And so in business, what this looks like is a checklist for me. I need to have a checklist in front of me every single day. And this is how I actually grew my business and was able to stay so consistent, especially in my first few years starting out. I had a daily checklist, a weekly checklist, and a monthly checklist. And even the daily ones, I printed out. I don't do this anymore. I have a more efficient strategy, but I printed out these little note cards, and every day I would put one on my desk. I'd put the day, and the day did not end until I got all those things checked off on that list. And then my weekly one would just sit on my desk for the week, and I'd make sure they all get checked off before the week is done. But now I just have kind of like a big checklist that I go through, and it lasts the whole week, but I could kind of check it out. It's like a habit tracker where I do it every single day, my non-negotiable tasks. But having that organization has made such a huge difference in my life. So I think it increases your excitement and confidence. So if you're looking to get that excitement back, try something new, try organizing an area of your life that maybe you feel lost or, not put together in, and see if it works for you. So there we go. I'll put it back on you, Dracy, for your next 5.
They were very inspiring. And again, I love it. When you're green, you grow. Your business is either growing or it's going. There's no in between. And I think that leads into my number 6. Number 5, my one was the future on embracing change. But my number 6 is also on future. And it's about embracing technology. It's such a rapid pace that's going on technology. And I just have to say, it's just so important for us to be informed and be adaptable. And so I'm still struggle. I still have, things that I'm doing a social media course based on what I have learned and how I'm stepping up and showing up. But I'm still having to learn. I'm still learning. Like, I still have to ask Teisha questions on doing this story, like little things like that. But it's okay. I'm okay with not being perfect. I'm just a part of the process. I'm enjoying the process. But I know things are coming. Like, we've started to implement AI into our social media, into our business. I've been able to be so much more productive this year because I've been able to use these kind of tools. And so since I said yes to embracing technology, it's been next level. And so next 2024 is going to be amplified of what we've been learning and what we've been implementing. So that's been super cool. The other thing in future, and this comes more personal, it's being more, I'm going to say, environmentally conscious. But I'm not getting caught up in that awareness of climate change. I'm not getting caught up in that bullshit. And that's part of me being authentic right now. But what I am really being conscious of is the footprint that I am personally leaving for the purpose of, I just feel we're being attacked. Environmentally. I think our hair care, our skin care, our fragrance industry, our cleaning industry, I feel it completely being attacked by toxic. So I've embraced being more living low tox living. So in my own home, I'm more conscious of what products I'm using in my home, what products I'm using on myself personally. I am really, very conscious for my grandkids and my children moving forward. But I just want to be that I'm being conscious of that. And that is for the future. So that's me being future focused. So I had 3 on future. So that was number 6. And then, so number 7, so that was number 8. Am I at number 8? I'm stuck now. I did 6, 7. Okay, 8. is finances. So I think that one is always a checkup from the neck up. I know my nature and what I need to nurture. And my nature, I'm a spender by nature. I'm sorry, you're a spender, a saver, or a gambler. You're usually one of three, and I'm the spender. So I always have to kind of reset that. And by doing that, I usually love to read a book. I love to watch some podcasts and just get my state into that mental preparation of how I'm going to be better this year. And I just love learning more new things. So I think that's it. It's just because I'm at the age now, it is that long-term planning is not so long. It's almost there. Like I'm on that stretch. So I think it's really important that we need to be very prudent in our financial management for our future. And so these are the things that I've kind of highlighted, and I followed some really great people that are really making a difference for me. So that's 8. And then number 9 in my fitness is how I've really prioritized my health and well-being. And I have to say, I've been passionate about health and well-being for the last 2 decades. But I can't believe I'm still learning so much more. And so my fitness goal is more about being able to walk up the stairs, touch my toes, lift my grandkids, and carry my groceries. Like that to me is fitness elite. You know, as I grow into my older age, I don't spend so much time in the gym anymore, but I do spend more time outdoors in nature. But movement, I'm more about movement and getting my body going. And I've learned so much about fasting and just what fasting actually does for the body. And I can't believe I'm like going to be 54 and I'm only learning the power of fasting and allowing your body to rejuvenate the cells. And so these are the kind of the new things I've learned this year. I've done a few 3-day water fasts, you know, supported with supplements and a good supportive community. And so consciously and making deliberate attempts on my health is just even more so next level than ever before. And so then I finish off with number 10. And Teisha, this is what inspired you to actually do your lessons. And my number 10 is really cultivating that gratitude. I do have an attitude of gratitude. I do have a heart full and very grateful for the life that I have designed. But I'm bringing it in that this year I really had to still remind myself, you never take it for granted and be grateful for the things that you have. And I just want to encourage a positive attitude and being grateful, because when you can get yourself in that state, you get yourself into the vortex of abundance. It'll flow your way by having an attitude of gratitude and a grateful heart.
I have to say, I like your priorities: groceries in one hand and grandbabies in the other hand. That made me laugh.
That's it, darling. That's what my elite fitness is now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And also, speaking of fasting, I am in the middle of, well, not a middle, I'm at the end of my fast right now. So I'm going to be having my first meal as soon as we're done filming this. So I'm excited.
Oh my God, isn't breaking fast just amazing? Like you just get to be intentionally think about what you eat when you break a fast, and everything just tastes so much more better. Like you just appreciate everything so much more. It's definitely something I've had a lot of fun doing, and I can't believe this conversation hasn't happened any sooner. And 2023 is the year.
Yep. Okay. Now moving into my final 5. So number 6 for me is getting excited about your future is contagious. So, you know, find out what brings you happiness and fulfillment and get excited about it. People who are passionate about what they do are my favorite people ever. I love when I go into a store or I'm dealing with someone through customer service and they're happy and you could just tell that they love what they're doing. And I think when you're excited, other people are excited too, right? It's contagious. So get excited about your future. And this one is kind of, I guess, on the contrary, my number 7, and that is hurt people hurt people. You might have to read that twice. So basically what it means is, you know, people feel what you feel. So when someone you care about is hurting, so do you, right? And if you're hurting, other people who care about you are hurting too, right? So this, you know, comes down to just taking care of your basic needs before you're able to reach your full potential in different areas of your life, right? And just how being the best version of yourself will make others around you better too. And so that's my motivation, to just be the best version of myself and to take care of my basic needs, is that I know it affects people around me and I want to have a great impact on the people around me. So I hope that, motivates you to be your best version as well, because it makes a difference, right? Some people think people aren't watching them, but there's always people watching you and looking up to you. So, work on yourself, and you'll affect the other people around you as well.
It's a great lesson. Great lesson, Teisha.
Number 8 is, it's easy to give up when you act like you've already lost. I'm pretty sure I wrote this one in my gratitude journal, because I just got home from a volleyball game, and I remember just coming home and I was like, everything just sucked. It was terrible. It was honestly like, I remember like, I go there to get exercise, but I'm also competitive, and like, volleyball is a team sport, and I remember just, we were losing really bad and everyone just acted like they gave up. So I also acted like we gave up. And so, it also just goes to show as well in leadership and business, show up as a leader every day, even if you don't have the rank or if you don't feel like one. Show up as a leader every day, do the leader things, do the leader tasks, and you have to be her before you become her, right? So you don't have to know everything to start, just get started, start, doing what leaders do, start, taking advice from people who are successful in the industry and start doing what they do, start showing up consistently, and you will become that person that you want to be. But when you act like you've already lost, then you're gonna lose, right? So that goes both for sports and for business for sure. Okay, this next one, kind of funny. I worded it exactly how I wrote it in my journal that night. So I wrote, get sleep or get wrecked. And honestly, that day I was wrecked.
There's a new post for you. You can post that one. I love it.
Yeah, so I was wrecked that day, clearly. And there's days I just have bad sleeps, and so I mean, I think it's just self-explanatory. Prioritize it if you want to be a high functioning human being. Otherwise, like, I know for me, it's like, I'm not productive. I'm honestly just a waste of space that day if I don't get sleep. So that's it. That's all. Get your sleep and prioritize it. And then number 10 is, people will love you and hate you no matter what you do. So do whatever makes you happy. Stick to your core values. Not everyone is going to be your cup of tea, and people don't succeed by trying to please everybody. So stick to what you know and what you love and what brings you happiness and fulfills you. Because you're never going to win at that game. You can't please everybody. So those are my 10 lessons. So let's now move into our 3 lessons that Dracy and I collectively came up with for the Unwrapped Leader. I'll let you get us started, Dracy, with these 3, and then we'll close it up.
Well, Teisha, first of all, I have to say those were very inspiring. I sat here, really sitting on the edge of my seat, wanting to listen. And I think between those 20 of them, we actually have a podcast topic for the next 20 weeks. We can really expand and elaborate on each one of those topics. I definitely know I'd love to talk more about some of the things that you shared. But I think for us, a big, huge lesson, I think, is what was our core values this year and our non-negotiables. You have a very thriving business. You started a new business in 2023. You actually have reset yourself for these next 5 years, because you finished your 5 years with, setting yourself in the network marketing industry. And now you're like setting yourself up. And so that's a full-time job. You've had multiple weddings, like you've had it big. And then head of sales, for the company that I operate and work on, and we have lots of responsibilities on my shoulders. It's like, and yet we have this brand, and you and I show up on this brand because we believe in this industry, this network marketing industry, and we know it's evolving and we know it's changing. And so you and I are on purpose together. And so we stuck to our core values and what was our non-negotiable. So as tough as it was is we were consistent. And that was being our podcast, our social media, showing up that way. But it was tough. Like it was really tough to do that between our schedules being on different continents. In that sense. So I have to say, the fact that we stuck to that non-negotiables, that was a really lesson that even leads into those of you building a network marketing industry. You got to know what those core values are. What are those core things that you got to do that are non-negotiable to grow your business? And so I just lead into that was probably our big lesson in that one. Did you have something to add to that, or?
Yeah, I agree. I think we did a good job at staying consistent, and in times that we couldn't, we leaned on each other and helped each other out in any area that we needed help with at the time. So I think that, we communicated really well in that sense. But I also think this leads us into our second lesson that we came up with, and that's being patient with one another. So obviously, be patient is a lesson that you learn, but I feel like there's so many things that come up every year that it's like you're relearning it. And so I guess just transparently with Dracy and I, like, we both have very different lifestyles and obviously very different time zones. So we have to make things work to film. We have to make things work to meet up when we want to put on events. Like, anything and everything that we do is very I guess planned out, but we both set time aside for each other every single week. And we know that we are talking, right now we're on a schedule where we talk at least twice a week for a few hours, and we're either filming or, coming up with what we're going to do next as the Unwrapped Leader. And we just, what?
I said, ooh, exciting. What we're going to do next.
Yeah. Lots of things in discussion all the time with us. We have so many ideas. But I think also, like I said, just with, having different lifestyles and different personalities, we have to be patient with each other. We both have different strengths and different weaknesses. And so we have to learn to capitalize on those strengths and use each other to, be the best that we could be and just become, the best brand that we can. So that is our second one, is just being patient with one another.
And I think that's great, Teisha, because like you said, we leaned on each other. When you were super busy, I was there, or I was super busy. And that's what evolved us doing a solo episode. And then just with our schedules, we couldn't always do a duo. But in that solo, we discovered we actually really enjoy doing our solos as well. And so we've put that part of our plan and strategy. But I think this leads into the lesson is the power of leadership and relationships, whether it's your partner, your husband, your wife, or whether it's somebody that you're working with in your network marketing business, that you have a leader, an up and coming leader. The relationship, that patience you need to have with one another, and really working out their strengths and what things they need to improve on, or what things you need to improve on. Hence why we would use our gifts analysis. That's why we created that resource in our free resources. So you and I were constantly, what's our strengths? What things do we need to improve on? What do we see as our future opportunities? What's holding us back? And how can we support one another? And so I think that's really helped. And that leads into our number 3, which, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so this is something for us. We get really good and consistent in what we're doing, but then we stop writing it down and we kind of start letting things go. Hence why we created our content planner. And when you and I sit down and do our content planner, that's what's kept us consistent, is that we've had to write it down. And hence why we put that as one of our resources in our social media course. But it was really creating some good habits for ourselves and being consistent, but we had to write it down. You said announce it. And then we also need to write it down. So you need to announce these things you want to do, but we have to write it down. So that's kind of what the 30 lessons have been. Did you want to recap those, or did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, like I think, you and I would say a lot of, we always have so many ideas. And so we'll talk about them out loud, and sometimes we'll be like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we're going to do it. But then if we don't write it down or make a plan, it doesn't happen, or over time it kind of fizzles out. So I like having our content planner, our gifts analysis, even like back to the lesson that you just talked about me like announcing my big goals. Like, I said it, but then I also had my own tracker, and I was posting pictures of that tracker too as I was progressing in it. I think like it's everything. You have to say it, you have to write it, and you have to do it, right? So yeah.
And you need somebody to be accountable to.
Yeah.
So whether that's an upline, a business partner, or hiring a coach, accountability is probably that. I would add that to a lesson for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Well, I guess we did 23 lessons, and I think this episode came up even better than I even thought. I knew it was going to be great, but I think we amplified this podcast. So if you've really enjoyed this podcast, you guys, please like it, share it. You know, if you're following us on YouTube, please subscribe. But I think what we really want to share with you guys is that if you go to our Facebook community, we want to set up 2024 with some intention. In other words, what score do you want to do in 2024? And if you want to set that year up, we're going to have a new habit challenge going in. How do you call it, Teisha? A daily habits challenge?
We're doing a 30-day business habits challenge in our community.
Starting in January. So yes, so go and join our Facebook community. And if you heard anything, any resources that we talked about throughout this episode, just direct message us. We'll happily send it to you, or go to our website and free resources, or better yet, check out our social media course, because you get everything. Other than that, you guys, I want to say Happy New Year's, and we'll see you in 2024. And Teisha, you have a wonderful, wonderful week. We are pre-Christmas here, so we're going to be celebrating Christmas, and then we lead into the new year. So all the best. Thank you.
Happy New Year's, guys. We will see you guys in 2024.